Hi traders, Dr. Barry Burns here with TopDogTrading.com. Today we're going to talk about how to determine trend in the market. The classic definition of trend is looking for higher highs and higher lows or lower highs and lower lows. And I disagree with that approach. So right away I'm going to start out by being radical. Okay, let me share with you why I don't like that approach to determining trend. So here we have the Euro-US dollar. It's a 5-minute chart. And what we're looking at here, for example, is we could say, okay, here is a low, a high, a low. So it looks like we're in a downtrend now, but now we've got a high, a low. Now, where are we going to draw the next high? We could draw it here. And then here, now it looks like we're in a downtrend. We've come back up, kind of made equal high, but this is not a lower low, and now we've got a higher high. But we've got a lower low, higher high, now another lower low, and now another higher high. Or maybe that's not even it. Maybe we're going to use, for example, this high, this low, this high. Now we definitely have higher high, higher low, higher high. We're in an uptrend. And then we come back down here, use a higher low, lower high, lower low. Now we're in a downtrend. Now we've got a higher high. You see, it keeps switching all the time. So there's two problems here. Number one is which highs and which lows do you use? It can vary from person to person. Over here, one person might use this low, that high, that low, that high. And then another person might say, oh, no, that's no good. That's nitpicking too much. You just have to use basic ones. Whoops. Get my drawing tool configured here. They might just say, no, those are equal, so we're just going to go from there to there to there. And that makes sense too. So the point is, we need to have an objective approach. And when you talk about doing higher highs, higher lows, lower lows, one of the issues that you'll come up against is how to determine which highs and which lows to use. So that's issue number one. Now, you can come up with solutions for that to solve that problem. Let me share with you one solution. So now I've added an oscillator to the chart here, and you can see that just change our scaling here a little bit to make it easier to see. Again, there's many different ways to determine which highs and which lows you want to use. So I'm just sharing with you one possible one. And I use something similar to this. Now, I'll get people emailing and saying, hey, which indicator is this? What are the settings? So forth. The indicators that I use are all shared in my course, but you can use whatever indicator you're currently using. Tweak it a little bit if you want to. Experiment with it to see what works good for you. But here's one approach. So you take an indicator, go from 20 to 80, draw some horizontal lines there. Look for where it intersects, okay? And we'll use these as our markers. All right. And then what we're going to do is go to our price bars. We're going to look for the lowest low in price when our oscillator is hit down here to 20. Okay, well these are equal lows, so I can mark either one of those. So that would be our low there. Here, that's our high. Here, that's our low. Now this one's a little trickier because this high is a little higher than that high. So actually the high we would use is this one because it is a higher high while the oscillator hit 20 and before it came back down to 20. So in other words, you're looking for the highest high in price while the oscillator is between cycle lows. Highest high in price is there. Okay, then the next high would be here. Actually, forgot the low. The next low would be there. The next high would be there. Okay, so that works out pretty well, because now what happens is we actually get objective highs and lows. So if you're using that system, everybody using the system will get the same results as to which highs and which lows they should use. Most importantly, though, is that you will have objective rules. Your rules will be the same every time you trade. Every time you're looking for which high and which low to use, it'll be objective. Now, there is a downside to this still. Even though we've gotten closer, this works great in hindsight. But the problem is, if you look at this, for example, and we already kind of did, this comes up here, and this hits 80. So on the hard right edge of the screen, when the market is right here, this is going to look like a high. And you're not going to be sure where that high really is until the oscillator comes all the way back down to 20. And so that's a bit of a problem when you're trading on the hard right edge of the screen. Again, it's great for hindsight and for analysis, not quite as ducky when you're trading live intrabar on the hard right edge of the screen. And so that is one of the big problems here with this approach that I think can still be usable, but definitely isn't good enough by itself. So we need to do something else. Now, if you look up the definition of trend in the dictionary, it will say to extend in a general direction. And that's very important, because what that means is that really the general accepted use of the term trend is not to measure short-term little trends, little movements where you get higher highs, higher lows. It is meant to be looking for movements that are extending in a general direction. So when I look for trend, I like to look for what I call the intermediate term trend, not really short-term trends. And what I use for that is the 50-period simple moving average, and I color code it. So red is down, green is up, and you'll get little flickers of the change in color. But generally what's happening here is this is saying that there is no trend right now. It's flat. This here, again, no trend right now. Flat, it's flickering. We have specific ways of reading this. By the way, I should also say this is very, very, very important. Nothing by itself, including this 50-period moving average or even the whole energy of trend, is enough to trade with. None of it is good enough. And so we use 5 energies, and we look for the alignment of those 5 energies, because this moving average is fine, but by itself, it's not going to work. Not going to work, tell you right now. But I find that it's a great way of measuring the energy of trend. But the energy of trend by itself is not enough to make money with. So I'll put a link in this in my blog post that's related to this video. My blog, by the way, is at topdogtrading.com if you happen to be viewing this video anywhere else. And the date today is December 2nd or 3rd. Actually, it'll probably be posted on the 4th. So look for December 4th at topdogtrading.com blog post, and I'll give you a link to a free video you can watch and see how I trade the 5 energies. But to finish this up, you see what's interesting here is we get a nice move up. All of this is just noise. All of this is just noise as far as direction goes. Then we finally get a follow through to the downside. Now look at this one. Here we go up. We've got up, down, up. What is that? Is this starting a new uptrend? Well, the 50 MA says, no, we're still in a downtrend. Still in a downtrend. And that would actually be a short trade. And it does. Again, it's the extension in the general direction. Regardless of the fact that we put in a higher high, that's just a short-term little move. It's not the general direction of the market. The general direction of the market is down. And this is why I use the 50-period moving average. It smooths out price and gives you that general direction.